Have you ever stopped to think about how the world could be if suddenly physical money ceased to exist? Imagine waking up in the near future and realizing that there are no more bills or coins, and every purchase, every transaction you make is under the control of a global and digital system. What if I told you that this economic transformation is happening right now, and 2025 will be the year where everything changes? When we talk about the end of money, many may think it's a distant or exaggerated concept, but biblical prophecies have already spoken about it. And what once seemed like a science fiction story is now closer than ever. The Bible, in Revelation, describes how global financial control will be one of the tools used by the Antichrist to dominate nations and enslave humanity. And now, with the rise of digital currencies, we are getting closer and closer to living the implementation of this totalitarian system, where money as we know it will cease to exist. The global economic crisis in 2025 could be the turning point, the moment when the end of physical money becomes a reality. What will begin as a solution to economic problems will transform into a nightmare for financial freedom. Are you ready for what's to come? With financial systems increasingly controlled by digital currencies and the global government monitoring every transaction, the freedom we once had to manage our own money will be extinguished, paving the way for a global regime where the Antichrist will use financial control to subjugate all. What is coming will be a financial revolution that will not only change the global economy, but will completely alter the way we live, spend, and think about our money. Do not be deceived. We are on the brink of a change that many do not even realize, and 2025 could be the year that defines the destiny of humanity. What would you do if your financial freedom was taken away, and you were forced to follow the rules of a system controlled by a single global authority? Subscribe now to the channel, so you don't miss the details of this radical transformation happening before our eyes. The imminent collapse, the global economic crisis that will destroy everything. Have you ever stopped to think about how it would be if, suddenly, the entire global financial system collapsed before your eyes? What happens when the global economy falls apart and the money you know becomes worthless? This scenario, which once seemed like just a fiction story, may be closer than we think. We are seeing a series of signs pointing to a global economic crisis that may be irreversible, and 2025 could be the year when all of this becomes a reality. The global financial system is undergoing unprecedented stress. As we are seeing more and more, the dollar is losing value, debts are accumulating, and the financial markets are swinging with the same intensity we have seen in past crises. With each new day, we can see the growing instability of a structure that has sustained the world for decades. The increasing political instability, tensions between global powers, and rising social inequality only make the crisis more imminent. Imagine you're living your life normally, and suddenly, the global banking system collapses. What would you do if your credit card stopped working, if you could no longer make simple financial transactions and physical money lost all its value? What would you do if, in one single night, the world changed and you were forced to adapt to a new financial system that no longer follows the rules you know? The only way out will be to adapt to this new total control system, a system that will be imposed by those in power. And according to biblical prophecies, this financial system will be essential for the Antichrist to take total control of the world. The question is, are we prepared for the collapse of the system? Every day, we see more signs that the global economy is approaching a breaking point. What is happening now in the economic world? The rising global debts, the bankruptcy of major banks and companies, and the signs of an impending global recession are just the beginning of something much bigger. These signs are the first steps toward the collapse of the traditional financial system, which will pave the way for the introduction of a new digital currency system, a global single currency. In Revelation, chapter 18, verse 17, the Bible warns us about the fall of Babylon, a symbol of the global financial system. For in 1 hour her desolations came. This verse describes a fall that happens suddenly and totally. The collapse of the financial system will be so fast and devastating that many will have little time to react. What once seemed secure, with solid banking systems and physical money backing our economy, disintegrates before our eyes. But what comes next? How does this relate to the rise of the Antichrist and the new global system? World leaders are setting the stage for this new system, a totalitarian financial system that no longer relies on physical money. Technology will be the tool that the Antichrist will use to implement absolute control. Digital currencies, such as cryptocurrencies and even state-backed digital currencies, may replace physical money in a way already being tested in several countries. And the most concerning part is that, with these digital currencies, control over all transactions will be centralized, allowing rulers to monitor and control all purchases, sales, and even people's financial choices. Can you imagine living in a world where your spending, your choices, and even your movements are monitored by a global control system? When the Antichrist appears, he will hold the key to total control over humanity through this new digital financial system. He will be able to impose his authority by enforcing the mark of the beast, which will be linked to the global financial system. Those who do not accept the mark will be prevented from participating in the global economy. No trade will be possible without adherence to the system, and people will be persecuted and excluded. Can you see the impact of a global economic crisis, aligned with the absolute control of the financial system and the imposition of a mark that will require total loyalty? Biblical prophecies are being fulfilled before our eyes, with the Antichrist preparing to use the economic crisis as a tool to establish global control. And now, more than ever, the question is, how do we prepare for what is to come? What will happen when the financial system collapses and the new system of total control establishes itself? The Bible teaches us that this will be the great test for those who follow Christ, and they will be confronted with the decision to resist this control system or to submit to it. Now, leave your like and comment below what you think about the collapse of the global financial system. How do you think humanity will react to this great change, and what can be done to prepare for what is to come? In the next topic, we will explore digital currencies and how they are creating a totalitarian financial system, fulfilling biblical prophecies about the end times. Don't miss it, as the signs we are seeing now are only the beginning of what is to come. Digital currencies, the rise of the global single currency and total control. If you thought the global economic changes we are seeing today are big, wait until you see what is to come. The world is moving rapidly towards a financial system that will be completely controlled by digital currencies, and with that comes a realization of a global single order, where the Antichrist will be the leader who will exercise absolute control. This is no longer a hypothetical scenario or a distant prediction, but something that is unfolding before our eyes, with the first signs already visible in various parts of the world. When we talk about digital currencies, many people think of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other decentralized currencies that have dominated the financial scene in recent years. But what many don't realize is that the use of digital currencies, if implemented on a global scale, can become a tool for totalitarian control under the guise of financial security and global stability. The concept of a global single currency, which would control all financial transactions, is no longer a distant idea, but something that is already being discussed among global leaders and powerful financial institutions. Imagine a world where all transactions are recorded in a centralized digital system, and where no one can make a single financial move without the approval of a centralized global government. This is already underway, with the growing adoption of digital currencies by governments, such as the digital yuan in China and the digital euro in the European Union. These developments are paving the way for what could be a global single currency that will replace national currencies, making the entire global financial system under the control of a single government. What seems to be a solution for global economic problems may, in fact, be creating the foundation for a totalitarian financial system in which the Antichrist can rule with greater ease. A global single currency would not only be a way to solve problems of volatility or inflation, but a way to monitor and control every financial movement of every individual. Would you buy or sell whatever you wanted without being monitored? With a centralized digital currency, it would be impossible to escape financial control without being tracked. And this, as described in Biblical Prophecies, is directly related to what will be the Antichrist economic system. In Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16, we read that he will cause everyone to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, without which no one can buy or sell. Imagine how a global single currency could be directly linked to this mark, making those who resist this control excluded from the global financial system. The Antichrist, with the support of a global digital financial system, will be able to determine who can participate in the world economy and who will be left behind. Total control over personal finances will be one of the most powerful tools the Antichrist will have to exercise his dominion over humanity. With the help of technology, the Antichrist will be able to block any financial transaction of those who refuse to follow the system, and there will be no more room for individual choices as everyone will be forced to submit. The lack of a physical financial system means that the Antichrist will have the power to control not only what we buy, but also how we live, and even what we believe. In the near future, we may see a scenario where governments directly control our finances and consumption decisions. And this will not be just to protect citizens from economic crises or inflation, but will be a way to impose a new world order, where the Antichrist will have total control over all financial transactions, and individual freedom will be a thing of the past. Can you imagine a world where you can't make a simple purchase without the government knowing every detail of your life? We are heading towards a world where digital currencies will no longer be just an alternative, but the only form of financial interaction. This is starting to happen, and the question is, are we really prepared to accept this new reality, or will we be at the mercy of the system that is being created now? If you're starting to understand the impact of these changes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details of this revolution we are living. The global single currency could be the beginning of an absolute control that will define the future of humanity. Stay with us to explore more about what is to come. In the next topic, we will examine how digital currencies are really preparing the way for the end of financial freedom, forcing humanity to live under the control of a system that can control every movement we make. Don't miss it, as what comes next is essential to understand the impact this will have on your life. The end of financial freedom. How digital currencies will steal your control. Imagine a world where you can no longer buy a simple cup of coffee without the permission of a centralized financial system. What happens when the financial control of your life is no longer in your hands, but in a global government or system that can tell you what you can and can't do with your money? Digital currencies, which started as an alternative to physical money, are quickly becoming the main form of transaction worldwide. The most alarming thing, however, is that with the rise of digital currencies, we are approaching a system where everyone's financial transactions will be monitored, controlled, and even limited by a centralized system. Today, technology is advancing fast enough to take us to a future where there will be no room for financial freedom. You may think that having your own digital currency, like Bitcoin or other decentralized cryptocurrencies, is a sign of freedom, but the truth is that this could be just the beginning of a deeper and more frightening transformation. What seems to be an evolution of the financial system is, in reality, creating the ideal conditions for a totalitarian government or a global leader, like the Antichrist, to have absolute control over global finances. And how do digital currencies contribute to this transformation? In a traditional financial system, you have the freedom to choose where to spend your money and with whom to make transactions. However, in a world of centralized digital currencies, like those that governments are starting to implement, such as the digital yuan in China or a proposed global currency by entities like the International Monetary Fund, every transaction will be recorded in a monitored system. The money you use will no longer be just yours, but will be controlled by a central authority, which will have the power to approve or reject any transaction. The impact of this on individual freedom is huge. Imagine that suddenly, your government, a global authority, or even an external force has the power to decide when, where, and how much you can spend. Will you be able to choose what you want to buy? Or will the system, in the name of security or global benefit, limit what you can do? Digital currency will allow this to happen in an unprecedented way. With the centralization of financial control, your freedom will be sacrificed in the name of a greater good, and you will no longer have power over your own finances. What is at stake is not just a matter of money, but of total control over your life. These digital currencies will not only replace physical money, but will also allow governments or the Antichrist to control every aspect of your financial life. If you refuse to participate in the system, you could be completely excluded from any form of transaction. Control over the economy will be absolute, meaning you won't be able to buy, sell, or even survive without being under the control of the system. This scenario is one of the keys to the establishment of the global government predicted in the scriptures. In Revelation, Chapter 13, verse 17, it is said that in the end times, no one will be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. Could digital currencies, with their centralized control, be just a prelude to the imposition of the mark of the beast, a system that not only limits your financial transactions, but also controls your ability to live freely? Imagine a world where if you don't submit to the system, you will lose the ability to access any basic service or buy essential products for your survival. What seems like an inoffensive payment system turns into a tool for global domination. The pressure to join this new system will be immense. At first, it may seem convenient, fast, and efficient. You will want to accept digital currencies for their simplicity. But as the system evolves, you will realize that the real loss of freedom has already begun. The government, the corporates, and eventually the Antichrist will be the ones who will have the final control over what you can or cannot do with your own money. But how did we get to this point? How are world leaders, through digital currencies, creating a scenario where financial control becomes the tool for total dominance? Digital currencies, which initially seemed like a solution to facilitate transactions, are actually creating the conditions for a global totalitarian system that will eliminate any resistance. The decision to embrace this new economy will not just be about technology or economy, but about control of your future. Now, before we move to the next topic, leave your like and comment below about what you think of this new global financial scenario. How do you think total control over finances might affect your freedom? Your opinion is crucial to understanding the impact of these changes. In the next topic, we will talk about how the mark of the beast will be the next natural step in global financial control, and how digital money will lead humanity to a system of total control. Don't miss it, as we will explore how this directly connects with the prophecies in Revelation and the impact this will have on all of us. The mark of the beast, how digital money will lead to total control. What would you do if, suddenly, you couldn't buy or sell without the permission of a system that monitors all your transactions? Imagine that your ability to make any purchase, whether at the supermarket, the pharmacy, or even pay your bills, was controlled by a single authority. This is the apocalyptic scenario that the Bible prophecies describe when talking about the mark of the beast, which will come with the total control of the global economy. How does digital money fit into this? And what does this total control mean for humanity in the coming years? The Bible, in Revelation, chapter 13, verses 16 to 17, warns us about a time when no one will be able to buy or sell, except those who have the mark of the beast. This gives us a clue of what's to come, a global system that will control all financial transactions. And what seems like a modern and efficient financial solution could be the beginning of a control system that will limit all individual choices, imposing absolute loyalty to a single leader. The concept of the mark of the beast fits perfectly into the scenario we are experiencing with digital currencies. The transition from a physical financial system based on traditional money to a digital system is happening right before our eyes. Currencies like the digital yuan in China and proposals for a global digital currency are rapidly taking shape. The idea that everyone's financial transactions could be monitored and controlled by a central authority is no longer a utopia. This digital system is being shaped to leave us with no choice. Physical money will soon be a remote past, and with it, our right to do what we want with our own resources. But how does the mark of the beast relate to digital money? The Antichrist, when revealed, will have the ability to control all financial transactions, forcing individuals to accept his authority through a mark, a digital symbol that will grant access to a global financial system. This mark will literally be the key to participate in the global economy. Those who resist or refuse to submit to the system will be excluded from access to goods and services, as described in the scriptures. They will become outcasts in the global society, with no means to sustain themselves or their families. Now more than ever, digital currencies and digital payment systems are making this scenario an imminent reality. How will the Antichrist take advantage of the digital financial system to impose his mark on everyone? The answer may lie in the technologies that are being developed now. How will the use of cryptocurrencies and other forms of digital money not only be an alternative to physical money, but a method to control every move you make, determining what you can or cannot do with your money? The absolute control that the Antichrist will have over the global economy will depend on his ability to establish a single digital currency that will replace physical money. The transition from a physical money-based system to a fully digital system is what will open the way for the fulfillment of biblical prophecies. When the monetary control system is in place, people will be forced to accept the mark in order to perform any transaction. The global economic unity will be impossible. The Antichrist will be the only one who will control what you can do with your own money. However, this control will not happen overnight. The transition to a global totalitarian system will be slow and gradual, peaking in 2025, the year that, according to prophecies, could mark the beginning of the end of financial freedom as we know it. This will be made possible by the advancement of digital technologies, which will allow every aspect of our financial life to be monitored and controlled. What starts as an alternative to physical money will, over time, turn into a system where your economic survival will be conditioned on accepting the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, which once seemed like something distant and symbolic, is becoming increasingly close to a concrete reality. The idea that a global digital system will be printed on your hand or your forehead may be metaphorical, but the real control it represents will be the final test of your loyalty to the Antichrist system. If you are starting to understand the impact of this future, leave your like now and comment below about what you think about the transition to a global digital system. How would you prepare for a world where physical money no longer exists and control over your own financial future is in the hands of a single authority? In the next topic, we will examine how the invasion of artificial intelligence and economic automation will finally end physical money. How can AI be the key to the final control of the financial system? And how does this align with biblical prophecies about the end times? Don't miss it, as the next topics will reveal more about this frightening path we are about to walk. The invasion of artificial intelligence and the end of physical money. Have you ever stopped to think about how artificial intelligence and automation are changing every aspect of our lives? Imagine a world where physical money no longer exists and control over what you can do with your own money is completely managed by an intelligent system designed to track and monitor every move you make. This may sound like science fiction, but the truth is that we are quickly moving toward a reality where physical money will be replaced by fully automated systems controlled by artificial intelligence. Today, we are seeing significant technological advancements in the field of artificial intelligence, AI, and automation. From machines performing simple tasks in factories to algorithms that are already starting to make large-scale economic and political decisions, AI is transforming the global economy in ways we never imagined. AI is already driving part of our daily lives, influencing the stock market and the way we decide what to buy and where to spend our money. But what happens when this technology starts to dominate the global financial system? What if AI, along with automation, creates a world where control over money and transactions is in the hands of a small group of people, or worse, a single global leader? Physical money is rapidly losing its value and relevance, and the transition to digital currencies and AI-controlled payment systems is not only inevitable, but happening right before our eyes. Did you know that artificial intelligence has the power to replace not only human jobs, but also make critical financial decisions that affect the global economy? AI is being used to analyze financial data in real time, make decisions about financial markets, and even determine the economic policies of entire countries. In the very near future, AI will not only manage money, but will dictate the rules for what we can do with it. We are already seeing signs of this with the introduction of centralized digital currencies, which can be controlled by automated and centralized systems. AI will be able to determine how much money you can spend, what you can buy, and even where you can travel or what you can do with your money. This scenario, where AI controls financial transactions and even your personal choices, is the beginning of a global totalitarian system that will be 100% dependent on technology. Instead of using physical money, we will be forced to adopt a completely digital system, where every transaction will be monitored, analyzed, and controlled. AI, with the help of digital currencies, will be the tool that will allow the Antichrist to exercise absolute control over the economy and, consequently, over every person's life on the planet. When the Antichrist comes, he will not only control what we can buy or sell, but also what we can access, what we can experience, and even what we can believe. The global financial system will be the backbone of this totalitarian regime, and digital currencies will be the vehicle through which he will exert his dominance. AI will be critical in ensuring that every person, anywhere in the world, is fully submissive to the Antichrist control. Biblical prophecies already speak to a time when control will be absolute. In Revelation, chapter 13, verse 17, it is said that no one will be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. This total control goes beyond what we can imagine today, but with the advent of artificial intelligence and automation, this global financial control will become possible. AI prepares us for a world where our financial freedom will no longer be a personal choice, but an obligation of the system, and the system will be governed by someone with absolute power. The transition from physical money to digital will not only be an economic evolution, but a way to force humanity to adopt a new system where the Antichrist will be the only owner of financial control. All economic movements will be tracked and monitored, and those who refuse to follow the system will be quickly excluded from society, unable to conduct transactions or even survive in a fully controlled economy. What happens when artificial intelligence not only decides what we buy, but decides what we can do with our lives, our time, and our resources? This is the future we are beginning to glimpse, and as we've seen in the scriptures, this kind of absolute control directly aligns with prophecies about the end times. Now, if you're starting to understand the impact of this digital revolution and how it connects with the prophecies, leave your like and comment here what you think about the arrival of a global system controlled by AI. How do you think this will affect financial freedom and the future of humanity? In the next topic, we will examine how the Antichrist will use the global economic system to control the world through money. How does he plan to manipulate the economic crisis and digital currencies to establish his reign of terror and absolute control? Don't miss it, as the revelations of how all of this fits together will leave you speechless. The Antichrist and the global economic system, how he will control the world through money. We are living in a world where economies are interconnected and at the same time vulnerable to global crises that can change everything in an instant. But what if I told you that the global economic crisis many fear will not just be an accident, but a carefully planned tool to pave the way for the rise of the Antichrist? He will not appear overnight, but through an economic control system that, according to prophecies, is already being shaped right before our eyes. And the most shocking part is that digital currencies will be the key to this transformation, enabling the Antichrist to manipulate the global economy in ways we never imagined. Imagine the following scenario: a world in crisis with economies failing, financial markets collapsing, and a population desperate for a solution. Chaos will be at its peak, and then a leader will appear, seemingly with the answer to all the economic problems. He will promise peace, security, and a new global financial order that will bring stability to a devastated world. But this solution will be a trap. The Antichrist will use the financial crisis as an opportunity to establish a system of absolute control. How will the Antichrist do this? With the rise of digital currencies, the global financial system will be completely transformed. Instead of physical money, which can be lost, stolen, or hidden, transactions will be monitored and recorded in a unique, centralized digital system controlled by a single entity. He will create a digital system that will ensure that every transaction, whether small or large, is under the control of a global government. Imagine a global currency controlled and monitored, where all your purchases, sales, and even your donations and financial interactions are tracked in real time. The Antichrist will have total control over what you will buy, sell, and even how you will live. He will no longer need an army to force the population to accept his authority. Money, the primary source of power, will be the weapon through which he will exercise dominance over all nations and peoples. By using the economic crisis to offer an apparently beneficial solution, he will install total control over the global economy, forcing people to accept the mark of the beast in order to buy or sell anything. If you do not accept the mark, you will not be able to participate in the global economy. The Antichrist will make everyone submit to his absolute financial control. This is a scenario described in detail in Revelation. The Antichrist, with the support of a global digital economic system, will be the only one who will have the power to decide who can participate in the economy and who will be excluded. He will present himself as the savior of humanity, but his true objective will be to subject everyone to his rule and establish a new world order, where he will be the center of worship and the key to financial survival. Now, imagine that, in the face of this control, people will no longer have the freedom to choose how to use their money or what to buy. In a centralized digital system, the Antichrist will be able to block your transactions, freeze your account, and prevent you from accessing any financial resources simply because you refuse to accept his authority. He will use digital currencies to ensure that the global financial system is completely under his influence, forcing everyone to make a choice: submit to his total control or be left behind, excluded from the economic system, with no resources to live. Who will escape this control? The prophecies of Revelation already predicted a time when those who refuse to accept the mark of the Antichrist will be persecuted, isolated, and forced to live outside the global system. And the worst part, in the Antichrist world, the economy will no longer be a factor of freedom, but a tool of domination. Through technology and the digitalization of finance, he will gain absolute power over the global population. The global economic crisis will be the tool the Antichrist will use to establish his totalitarian reign. He will take advantage of financial difficulties to consolidate his rule, offering a global financial solution which will, in reality, be the ultimate financial prison. Through the imposition of digital currencies and total control over transactions, he will bring humanity into a control system where financial freedom and autonomy will be extinct. Now, if you want to understand how this dystopian future might be more real than we imagine and how biblical prophecies prepare us for this moment, download our ebook about how the global economic crisis is linked to the rise of the Antichrist and how digital currencies are becoming the new means of control. In the next topic, we will talk about 2025, the year that will change the global economy. Will this be the decisive year for the implementation of total financial control and the fulfillment of the prophecies? Don't miss the in-depth analysis of how economic changes may lead to the revelation of the Antichrist. 2025, the year that will change the global economy. The prophecy will be fulfilled. Did you know that 2025 could be the year when the world, as we know it, will change forever? Imagine a year when the global economy is collapsing, physical money no longer exists, and a new totalitarian financial system is imposed on everyone. Sounds like a distant idea? Maybe, but predictions of a global recession beginning in 2025 are growing in intensity, and all signs point to this being the transition point from the current financial system to a new absolute control, exactly as described in biblical prophecies about the end times. The global economic crisis underway is not just a forecast by experts or financial analysts. It is a clear sign that the world is preparing for a radical economic transformation. Economic tensions are rising, global debts are at an all-time high, and the value of major currencies is fluctuating at an unstable level. These are just a few signs that we are approaching an event that will change the way we deal with the economy, trade, and, most importantly, our financial freedom. Have you noticed how inflation is growing in several countries? How the dollar is losing value in a global scenario of mounting debts? The world is heading for a global recession that will be more devastating than any previous crisis, as the great world powers face a simultaneous collapse of their financial systems. But what is speculated about 2025? Predictions of a recession are not limited to just an economic slowdown. What we are seeing now is an imminent collapse of the financial system, in which physical money will completely lose its value. In 2025, what begins to materialize will be a totalitarian digital financial system, where control over every transaction is centralized and playing a crucial role in the rise of a global government. The growing adoption of digital currencies is a clear example of how the monetary system is being designed to become completely digital and centralized. Imagine a world where your physical money has no value anymore, and you will need to join a global financial system controlled by a single leader. The transition to a single digital currency, imposed by a central system, is the exact fulfillment of the biblical prophecies that speak of the Antichrist's absolute control over the world economies. The prophecy in Revelation, chapter 13, speaks about the mark of the beast and how those who accept it will be able to buy and sell, while those who reject it will be excluded from the global economic system. And if this global economic system is exactly what we are seeing emerging now, with digital currencies becoming the exclusive means of transaction and absolute control being imposed through a tracking system, what seems like a financial innovation could, in fact, be the final step for the fulfillment of the prophecies in Revelation, turning physical money into a thing of the past and implanting a new system of control. In 2025, the global financial system will become completely centralized, with digital currencies replacing physical money, and the lack of credentials for the new financial system could leave millions of people and families without access to essential goods or services. But the most concerning fact is that the Antichrist may take advantage of the economic instability to present himself as the savior of humanity, offering an apparently perfect solution to restore financial stability. But in reality, he will be imposing a total control system over every human being's life. What might seem like a solution to the economy will, in fact, be the final trap for the control of all humanity. The global economy, undergoing this radical transformation, will become the greatest tool of domination that the Antichrist will have. Digital money will be the instrument through which he will monitor every action, every movement, and every choice of people, giving him absolute control over the masses. Now, the question arises, what to do in such a scenario? How to prepare for the end of physical money and the implementation of a global financial control system. The prophecies have already warned us about what is coming, and the future that lies ahead is frightening. If you feel lost about this, download our ebook now, where we explain in detail how the global financial system is changing and how the prophecies are being fulfilled right before our eyes. In the next topic, we will talk about the social credit system, which could be the final tool for the complete loss of financial freedom. This system will force everyone to fully submit to financial control and, consequently, social control. Don't miss it, as we will analyze how the system will directly affect your life and your freedom. The social credit system, the complete loss of financial freedom. Have you ever imagined living in a world where every aspect of your life is controlled not only by your actions, but also by the financial system? What happens when your social credit, assessed by the government or a global system, determines every part of your life? The concept of social credit, which seems distant to many, is becoming an increasingly growing reality, especially with the advancement of digital currencies and the centralized control of our finances. When these tools are fully implemented, the implications will be profound and can no longer be ignored. Social credit based on digital currencies is not just a futuristic idea, but a growing force that, according to biblical prophecies, represents the last step before the total loss of our individual freedom. What if you don't have good social credit? The social credit system was designed to evaluate everything you do, from your credit score to your adherence to ideals or behaviors approved by the government or a centralized entity. Your financial freedom will be determined by a system that scrutinizes your actions, choices, and even your faith. Like digital currencies and the globalized financial system, it will become the absolute control tool in the hands of those who wish to rule the world. But how would a social credit system work in a digitalized financial world? With the use of digital currencies, the control of personal finances would no longer just be a matter of access to your bank, but the decision of how, where, and when you can spend your own money. If you do something not approved by the government or a global system, for example, supporting a different political ideology or even questioning government decisions, your social credit will be affected. This means that the government or the Antichrist, using a centralized system, could restrict your ability to spend money, prevent you from buying essential foods, or even ban access to vital services. The idea of a social credit system is no longer a theory. Countries like China have already implemented a social credit system that monitors the actions of their citizens, rating them based on their behavior. But what would happen if the spread globally, directly linked to digital currencies and centralized financial control, global connectivity, through artificial intelligence and digital currencies, would create an environment where social credit would be the final tool to control everything you do, what you buy, where you travel, even who you associate with, and what you think could be monitored and controlled by a system that determines if you are approved or untrustworthy to participate in the global economy. The impact of this control will be enormous. Imagine not being able to buy food because your social credit was downgraded due to your opinions or behaviors. Will you be able to escape the control of a global system without recognizing your mistake? The Antichrist, as predicted in the prophecies of Revelation, will use the digital economy and the social credit system as a way to force humanity to submit to his reign. Financial freedom, as we know it, will be a remote past, where the option to make independent financial choices will be completely extinguished. This vision of total control, where the financial system, government, and even your ability to live autonomously are limited, is exactly what the scriptures describe about the rise of the Antichrist. In Revelation, chapter 13, verse 17, we see that no one will be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast, a symbol of complete subordination to the global system. The social credit system will be the final tool the Antichrist will use to control what people can do, where they can go, and even what they can think. The links between financial control and social behavior will be closely tied, and the system will be impossible to escape. But what to do in the face of such a reality? How to prepare for a world where our social credit will determine our financial and social existence? The biblical prophecies have already warned us. The end of individual freedom is approaching, and the only way to resist this control will be through faith and obedience to God. Now, if you are starting to understand the impact of this dystopian future and how it directly connects with the prophecies, leave your like now and comment here what you think about the social credit system and how it can impact our future. We are witnessing significant changes, and understanding these changes may be the key to our spiritual and practical preparation. In the next topic, we will examine how the economic crisis of 2025 will be the turning point for the collapse of the global financial system and the revelation of the Antichrist. How could economic chaos pave the way for the rise of the Antichrist? Don't miss it, as we are getting closer to understanding what is about to happen. The crisis of 2025, the collapse of the financial system, and the revelation of the Antichrist. The crisis approaching in 2025 will not just be an economic slowdown, but the total collapse of the global financial system. What happens when the global financial system, which sustains our entire economy, collapses in a single moment, leaving the world in chaos? The impact of this will be incomparable to any previous crisis. And the most alarming part is that the biblical prophecies have already foretold that this collapse will be the transition point for the rise of the Antichrist, the global leader who will take absolute control over finances, politics, and the lives of everyone on the planet. In 2025, the expectations of a global recession will become an increasingly unmistakable reality. The world is quickly heading toward a financial breaking point, and the consequences of this crisis will be devastating. The collapse of the global financial system will open the doors to a new system in which the Antichrist will take total control. Digital currencies and social credit will be used to implement a global government that will not only control money, but also people's choices, actions, and even their thoughts. What can we expect from such a crisis? The global financial system will be the first to collapse. The bankruptcy of banks, the devaluation of currencies, and the closure of global markets will be just the beginning. This collapse will leave millions of people without access to their own financial resources, and those who do not quickly adapt to the new digital currency system and centralized control will be left behind. And what will happen to you if your access to your money is taken away? It will not just be a matter of not being able to make purchases, but of being forced to accept a new system imposed by the Antichrist, where the only way to survive will be through total loyalty to him and his regime. The Bible clearly speaks about how, in the last days, the global economy will be completely transformed. In Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 17, it says, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. This mark will be a necessary condition for anyone to participate in the global economy." The Antichrist will use financial control as a means to submit everyone to his domain, and the collapse of the financial system will be the exact moment when he will take full control. So, what comes next after a global economic collapse? The implementation of a single, centralized global financial system, where all transactions will be made by digital currencies and under the control of a central authority. This will not only affect what we buy or sell, but it will also affect who we are and what we can do with our life and resources. Financial freedom will be extinguished, and in its place, a system where all of our decisions will be under surveillance and control. In 2025, the Antichrist will rise as a savior of humanity, promising economic stability in a devastated world, but in truth, he will be implementing total control over every individual's life. He will create an absolute financial control system, where all of us will be forced to adhere to his rules and accept the mark of the beast, under the penalty of being excluded from the financial system and condemned to live without resources. The economic collapse will be the opportunity the Antichrist needs to deliver the final blow and impose his tyranny over the nations. The most shocking part is that the economic crisis of 2025 will not be a coincidence, but a direct fulfillment of biblical prophecies. Every step we take towards this global crisis is one step closer to the moment when the Antichrist will take power and implement a totalitarian control system that will not only dominate the economy, but also the individual freedom of everyone in the world. The end of physical money will be just the beginning, and complete control will be impossible to escape. Now, if you are starting to understand how the pieces of the puzzle fit together and how the financial collapse of 2025 may be the turning point for the rise of the Antichrist, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any detail of this transformation. The future we are seeing may be closer than we think, and understanding these prophecies now could be the key to preparing for what is to come. In the next topic, we will examine the new global economic order that is being implemented and how total financial control will forever alter your life. How will digital currencies and centralized control systems be the foundation of this new global government? Stay tuned, as what is coming will surprise you. The new economic order. The global control that will alter your life forever. We are about to witness a global transformation in the financial system that will change the way we live, spend, and even think about money. Are you ready to live in a world where physical money no longer exists and the entire global economy is under the control of a central government? What once seemed like a science fiction dystopia is now closer than ever. Digital currencies, combined with the implementation of a global monetization system, do not just represent a change in the way we deal with money, but the complete destruction of the economy as we know it. The implementation of digital currencies will be the final tool for global control of the financial system, allowing the government or any global leader to have the ability to control every transaction you make. From everyday purchases to your savings, everything will be digitized and tracked. Any economic action of yours will be monitored and controlled by a centralized system, in which you will have no financial privacy. The concept of private money as we know it will be extinct. Instead, a system of single digital currency will be introduced, interlinked to your behavior, beliefs, and compliance with the new global government system. The impact on daily life will be immediate and drastic. You may wake up one day and realize that you can no longer make simple purchases or access basic services, as the system is already monitoring and controlling your finances digitally. If you are a non-approved citizen by the global government or do not follow the rules of the new regime, your financial transactions could be blocked at any time. This control will extend from your food to your ability to get a job or even travel. Financial freedom will be a concept of the past. Now, the most terrifying part of all this is that those who refuse to accept this totalitarian financial control system will be persecuted. Without digital currency or the mark of the beast, which is essential for you to make any financial transaction, you will be marginalized, isolated, and left out of the economic society. Financial persecution will be one of the most effective methods of control over people and forcing them to submit to the new global government. The struggle for resources and survival in a globally controlled economy will become humanity's greatest challenges. Imagine a world where financial control, along with the digital monitoring of all your actions, becomes the new normal. If you don't follow the rules, no matter how much you work or how hard you try, your access to the economy will be severely restricted. The loss of financial freedom will be a loss of personal freedom, where you will no longer be able to make independent decisions about your life or what to do with your own money. The Antichrist, with his economic control, will be responsible for this. He will implement a system that not only controls your finances, but also your identity, your choices, and even your rights as a citizen. The new global economic system, which is already being built, represents the end of personal and financial freedom. The imposition of a single digital currency, combined with the social credit system, will be the tool through which the Antichrist will establish absolute control over all nations. And are you prepared for what is to come? How will you react when the system requires you to submit to it in order to survive? This is the future that is unfolding for all of us. Now, if you are starting to realize how these changes will impact your life and society as a whole, leave your like now in comment here what you think about the impact of digital currencies and the social credit system on our future. What are your concerns about this new economic order? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details about how the prophecies are being fulfilled and how to prepare for what is to come. God bless you, and until the next video,